Hi, I'm the Rifter, and welcome to What Should I Watch Tonight? So last time I recommended the movie Alien from 1979. Well, I figured I might as well follow in perfect form with Aliens, the sequel. A lot of famous people in this film, and I can't remember all their names, but of course Sigourney Weaver's back, Ellen Ripley, what's his name? Paul Reiser. He is... I can't remember what his character name is, but he's a real piece of crap. When you watch this film, it's just, I don't know, I don't really think of Paul Reiser as a slime ball. Maybe it's just because of Mad About You. And I wasn't really a big fan of his in that. That was like the discount Seinfeld for me, I guess. And Seinfeld was an okay show. Aliens was another one of those movies, and I don't think I talked about in the first movie, Alien. The main thing I loved about that movie was the sense of isolation that they brought with such a small cast and such a small... And I mean, the ship wasn't small, but I guess that there was no escape from there's no escape from the alien or the xenomorph or whatever you want to call them. I can't see anything around you, bruh. That was one of the things I loved about Alien. In Aliens, they go back to LV-426 because... Okay, I think I've gone too far already. I haven't gone too far, but I think I need to back up a little bit because the whole thing is Paul Reiser didn't discover Ellen Ripley, but in last movie, we end with Ellen Ripley. She is in her escape pod and she's floating through space. You've got to kind of look at this from her point of view, that it's a terrible thing that happened. She's floating for, I think they said it was 54 years, which I've seen this movie a ton of times. I just haven't seen it lately, and I remember a whole bunch of parts to it. But she's been floating through space for 54 years, I believe, through the core systems, whatever that is. It's some federation of systems that are core. I don't know. So she's floating through space for 54 years. And I believe that her daughter was 11 at the time, or she was 10 and she was turning 11. Ellen told her daughter that she would be home in time for her birthday, which of course she never was. And floating through space for 54 years, and finally somebody finding you, there's a good chance that your children are probably deceased, which it just so happened her daughter had passed away not long after that. But I mean, you got to look at it from her point of view. It's completely devastating. I mean, I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts, and just people are terrible. The world is a terrible and scary place, and I've got a podcast that we'll get into that later. You got Ellen Ripley, who just lost her child after 54 years. She hasn't aged, which amazing. I mean, you lost your daughter. You lost time, but you didn't lose time, if you get what I mean. You got this guy, and he's played by Paul Reiser. I'm trying to remember what his actual character name was, but he's a real piece of crap. And he worked for this thing called The Company. And this is the first movie where I saw that, if you didn't know, okay, spoilers. If you didn't know, this is the first movie where I saw and I put together when I was little, which was really hard to do in the 80s because we didn't have the interwebs. But they have this flash in the movie. I'm getting too far ahead of myself. I'll come back to that maybe if I remember, which I probably won't. So anyway, there's this big inquisition about why she blew up this really expensive freighter. And I mean, honestly, I can understand the questions, because it's billions of dollars. I mean, of course, in that far in the future, I'm sure it would be more like $1 trillion or a few trillion to build that freighter. But she just lost her daughter. They're drilling her for this information. And Paul Reiser told her about her daughter beforehand, because that's the only thing that's important to her. And which I always say, go see your family, because we're not permanent. Anyway, getting back to that, they revoke her license to, I think she was a warrant officer Ripley, that was right. But they revoke her license to go out on these, what was she? She was part of the science division. So they revoke her license as a warrant officer. I don't know why she has to have a license to be a warrant officer, but they revoke her license. So she explains about this planet, blah, blah, blah. Paul Reiser hears about it and he thinks, oh, wow, these things would be great. These things would be great for the weapons division of the military. I'm gonna tell they've had colonists on LV-426 for 30 years. Not completely explored, because it's real harsh terrain. But they've had colonists there for at least 30 years. You know, Paul Reiser's like, hey, send these people out to a grid reference. They send some colonists out there. It comes back with the facehugger attached. Alien wipes out the whole compound except for one little girl named Newt. And Ellen is told, hey, you need to go, we want you there as an advisor, as a consultant, because we're sending the Marines in, the Space Marines. Great title, I don't know why. So she's hesitant at first, like, I don't want anything to do with it. She doesn't trust Paul Reiser anyway, which, good on her. He's a piece of crap. She goes with him anyway. Not with Paul Reiser, but with all the Marines. A lot of oh man, such a good cast. It's a movie from the 80s. You have to realize that. You need to watch this tonight. This is what you should watch tonight. They go to investigate, and of course no one believes her, but then they see that these things have acid for blood, which I didn't mention last time. The xenomorph is what they call it, but it's such a fascinating creature. Has acid for blood, has two mouths, elongated head, extremely ferocious, and they grow quickly and they reproduce quickly. And it's kind of like an ant hive. There's a queen. Most of these things are drones. I think why I'm fascinated by the Alien series, especially when you get to the second one, it completely drives down to survival. Like, these things are the epitome of the strongest survive. They're the epitome of only the strong survive. So you've got the aliens, you got the Space Marines, and of course they have their big battles, but not so much isolation, which they are isolated. I mean, if something happens on this planet, they say that if they're completely cut off, they'll be like 17 days until they can expect a response from the actual Marines, until they send in the cavalry, which is, I believe, how they phrase it. When can we expect a response? How long do we have to be gone? And they tell them, well, 17 days. It's such a good movie. You need to watch the sequel. This is one of those few times when the sequel is as good, if not better, than the first one. And I know that's saying a lot, especially with the slasher flicks like Friday the 13th. Like, the third one was garbage. Second one was the first one was really good, but I'm getting off topic here. Aliens, I don't know, maybe it's just because I was little and it scared me so much, and that's what really just, I can watch these movies over and over. Like my father-in-law has Jaws. He loves the movie Jaws. He can watch it over and over and over. Jaws is pretty good. Actually, my mom can watch the movie Jaws over and over and over again. Amazing movie. You need to watch it. They have their battle with the aliens. Most of them die. The only survivors, which, if you can call them survivors, and again, spoilers, the only survivors are, of course, Ellen, Newt, what is his name? I don't remember the guy's name. I haven't seen it in so long. And then Bishop, of course. They get off the planet. I'm not going to tell you what happens to Paul Reiser, but he gets what's coming to him. He actually tries to put Newt and Ellen in a room alone with one of these face huggers to lay eggs in them to bring it back, because Ellen decides, hey, We need to nuke the planet from orbit. That's the only way we can be sure that nothing comes through. Well, Paul Reiser doesn't like that, so he tries to basically impregnate them with embryos from these facehuggers. I'm not gonna tell you what happens to them, but they get off the planet, they nuke it from orbit, amazing. But then the big payoff finally comes. This is the meat and potatoes of the movie. Like, I know it's a long movie, but man, there's so many good scenes in it, and the end just does not disappoint. Like there's two showdowns with the Queen. Number one, when Ellen saves Newt from the Queen. Number two is once they get off the planet and they're in the spaceship, like the mothership. I don't know what to call it. The first showdown's amazing because I really feel like Ellen Ripley. I really feel like Sigourney Weaver's performance. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of hers in a lot of movies. And I don't know if it's just the type of movies, but man, her performance in Alien and Aliens, I love it. But the look of fear on her face when she realizes in the first confrontation with the Queen that she is right smack dab in the middle of a bunch of eggs right after saving Newt. And she's got Newt in her arm just like it's her own child. And it's such an amazing dynamic because she lost her daughter. And the whole thing going through her mind is only what I can assume is this girl lost her parents. And they don't shove it down your throat that that's the symbolism, but this girl lost her parents and her brother, actually. I'm going to take care of her now. And it's just like that mother mentality takes over, and she's got her in her arm, and she's just like trying to protect her and save her from this Queen that's just, man, it's such an amazing moment that Ellen just doesn't care what happens to herself. It's complete parental response to what would happen if your child was in danger. Unless you're a piece of crap like SLK, what's his name? Kimball, who attempted to kill his 10-year-old child twice and failed. And now he's in prison. You suck. He may be dead. Anyway, it's such an amazing moment. In the final confrontation, Bishop gets split in half. And if you ever get a chance to see the movie Paul, which is a comedy, watch it. The very end, when, I can't remember her name, but she tells Ellen, which, spoiler for the movie Paul, she tells Ellen Ripley, "Get away from her, you bitch," is the same thing that Ellen Ripley tells the alien when the alien Queen is going after Newt. She yells out, "Get away from her, you bitch!" And she's in this big mechanized suit, and it's like, it's so 80s Japanese movie. It's mechanized robot versus alien super Queen. Gets rid of the Queen, all's good and well. We move on into Alien 3. But definitely, you need to watch this one tonight. If you've watched the first one, watch the second one. Amazing movie. But again, I'm the Rifter. 421 people subscribed. I don't know. There's 2 people in the last day or so. Thank you for watching. If you want to donate, it's in the description. And again, let me know what you think of these movies. If you watched them and you don't agree, put it down there. I mean, this is completely opinion-based. But anyway, I'm the Rifter. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. I gotta go back to work and make a little money. Bye.